Howdy BookTube, Nikki here with my October wrap up, all of the books that I read in October, and there are a bunch of them, so here they are. Now I did film a September wrap up, but the audio went all gross and I couldn't fix it, and so I just didn't bother editing it or posting it or anything. But I did start a series in September because I had a really crappy week in September. It was the week leading up to my birthday. I got really sick and I got stuck in bed for a few days, and then my cat got really sick and unfortunately he passed away, which left me pretty upset. So I needed a series that was going to cheer me up and that I knew I was gonna love. So I picked up the Skulduggery Pleasant series, which is my favorite series of all time. That's why I'm confused, because that's in the wrong order. So I continued with books 3 through 8 this month, and it's my third time reading all of the books so far, because I love them and they're so great. From the cover, you may be fooled into believing that this series is about this guy, Skulduggery Pleasant, who is an undead skeleton made detective guy, but you would actually be mistaken, because while he is one of the main characters, the real gem, the real star of this series is Stephanie Edgley. She meets Skulduggery in the first book after her uncle passes away, and she is drawn into this world of magic, and in the first book she's about, I think, 11 or 12, and in the last book, book 9, she is 18. So we follow her that whole time and we see her grow up, and it's such an amazing series, and I love Stephanie Edgley, and I could talk about this all day. I think I'm gonna have to make a video just about this series because the characters are amazing, the plot is like what the, and it's just so much fun, but also really like emotionally damaging. So there's a 6 out of 11 books that I read this month. The next book that I read is Day Boy by Trent Jamieson. This is set in a future where vampires have taken control, they're well and truly ruling the world, and this follows a character named Mark, who is what's called a day boy. So at night time the vampires rule. They're like, young man, you can't kill me because it's night time, whoop whoop. But they can't go out in the sun, they're killable by fire and a bunch of other things. So they can't go out during the day. So during the day they have what's called a day boy. And a day boy is a young guy that oversees the stuff that they have to do during the day and helps out the town. And Mark has to decide his future, basically. So he lives in this small town and he's this day boy, and it might be that he one day becomes a vampire, but he's not sure what he wants to do. So the novel's pretty much just about Mark coming to his decision and looking at his life and what he wants it to be. Being set in a country town, it actually reminds me of other Australian novels about a young man in a small town, and the town is too small for his potential and sort of like he has nowhere to go, like Deadly Anna by Philip Gwynne or Jasper Jones by Craig Silvey. The plot got a bit weird at the end, but at the end I didn't see it coming. I did not see the end coming, and I didn't expect for it to have such a, like, what ending? I don't even know if you'd call it a twist. Didn't expect it, but I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I think it's a really good addition to the vampire myth and exploration of that. I also read The Killing by Robert Muchamore. This is the 4th book in the Cherub series. In this series, Cherub is a branch of British intelligence where young kids are used to gather information and stuff. So it's kind of like a spy school, but it's not like Alex Rider, where it's, you know, a 13-year-old kid doing kung fu against an eccentric guy who wants to blow up the world. It's a little bit more realistic. In this one, once again, James and the other main characters are going undercover to find out some information, but this book deals with a bunch of other stuff as well. It deals a bit with bullying, but not like in the way you see in a lot of fiction. The main character isn't being bullied. In fact, he is kind of a bully, and he also has a terrible attitude toward girls. But I feel like this is more useful than having a character we all point out and say, oh, they're a bully, don't be like them. We have this character, James, that we really like, and he's funny, and we want him to succeed, and then he makes these horrible decisions. But charismatic, fun people can also make crap decisions and treat other people bad and have poor attitudes, and that could be us, so don't do that, please. Cool. I found that this one was my favourite build-up at the end. I feel like Robert Muchamore doesn't do the whole big explosive ending that a lot of spy books do, but he kind of built the tension really well at the end of this one. I still gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I got a little bit tired of hearing the main two characters talk about girls. You are just ticking me off. Can you just lay off, please? Thank you. This one does have probably a trigger warning for suicide, I guess. And these do come with a not suitable for younger readers warning because they deal with like real crime that people do. So there's nothing like super heavy, but it's, you know, it's realistic and gritty. As if I hadn't reread enough books in October, I reread Maximum Ride, Saving the World and Other Extreme Sports. This is the 3rd book in the Maximum Ride series. I think I've read up to like book 7 or something, but I never finished the series and I want to know what happens. The thing about this series is that it has a really cool premise. Okay, there are 6 kids and they were experimented on when they were little, and they have wings and they can fly and they can kick butt and they have other abilities that crop up conveniently throughout the series. And they have escaped. At the start of the 1st book, they've escaped, and then one of them is kidnapped by the place that created them. No! So they end up going on this giant adventure across America. I also really love the characters because they're really funny. Their dialogue's pretty punchy. The problem with this series, however, is that I just wish someone else wrote it. Is that mean? Probably. I just have so many problems with the way this was executed. First of all, James Patterson seems incapable of writing a chapter more than 3 pages. You think I'm exaggerating. You think, oh, you jest. No, I actually challenge you to find a chapter more than 3 pages. 1, 2, oh, 2.5. 1, 2, oh, new chapter. Oh, that was almost 3 whole pages, guys. While this matches the kind of erratic plot, which is really just things that happen in a row, calling it a plot, I feel, is a little bit generous. The problem is that he tries to drop bombshells at the end of a chapter, and when you've got 2.5 pages of build-up before a bombshell, it's not really... It doesn't... You're not selling it to me, mate. Don't care. Like the narration in this book and some of the dialogue, I found like James Patterson was just trying too hard. I also don't know who he's writing this for, because this is definitely in the YA section, like it's not middle grade, but it seems to be like middle grade writing and dialogue with young adult violence and a ridiculous plot that I don't even think middle grade people would buy. So I gave this one 2 stars. I think I will continue the series still because I do want to know what happens to these characters. I still love the characters. The only reason I will continue the series is because I already have the books and the characters. Also, to give you an idea of how much James Patterson doesn't know what's happening with the plot, he actually finished the series twice. He finished the series with a book called Maximum Ride Forever, which was the last book. I actually have it in hardback and it says the final Maximum Ride Adventure or whatever. And then he wrote another book. He wrote the last book again. I was like, you can't finish a series twice. Like, that's all endearing and stuff. I know we all want another Harry Potter book, but at least J.K. Rowling knew how that series was going to end. Apologies if this is your favourite series. I'm still going to read it and I love the characters. I just think we deserve more. On the ridiculously cute side of things, I read Catbug's Treasure book. Oh my gosh, look at the cuteness. It's Catbug. Catbug is a character from Bravest Warriors, which is a cartoon on the Cartoon Hangover channel on YouTube. It was created by Pendleton Ward, who also created, I don't know, a little show called Adventure Time. I don't actually like Adventure Time much. Like, I don't hate it. I've just never really gotten into it, but I love Bravest Warriors and I love Catbug. He's so cute. And this is just a little book of Catbugs where he tells little stories. I don't even know if I'd classify it as a novella. I'd probably even classify it more as a graphic novel. My favorite thing about it is probably some of the art is amazing, so I really love it just for that. But then some of the stories are really cute as well. I wouldn't recommend this for somebody who doesn't know who Catbug or Bravest Warriors is. It would be a cute present though for someone who does love Bravest Warriors because it's so cute. The final book that I read this month was Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is the 2nd book in the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. The 4th book, Winter, is coming out really soon, so I had to get my skates on. Not literally because I would fall over, but I had to start reading this series again. The Lunar Chronicles is basically a bunch of futuristic sci-fi fairy tale retellings. So we had Cinder, Cinderella, Scarlet is Little Red Riding Hood, and I really freaking enjoyed it. I'm in the camp of people that enjoyed this book more than the first one, not because I hated the first one. I liked the first one. I gave it like 4 or 4.5 stars. This one I gave 5 stars because I just thought it was cool and a little bit less predictable than the first one, naturally, because there are more characters in this one and the first one was kind of only following one sort of plot. My favourite thing about Marissa Meyer's writing is that she has this uncanny way of making ordinary movements, things, moments seem completely brand new and just so purposeful. For example, the way she describes a hug or like someone fixing their hair or a throwaway thing that happens within, you know, 2 seconds of real time. She makes it seem so meaningful, and that is why she's so good at showing us what's happening and how a character feels rather than just telling us, and I think that that suits both the fairy tale retelling and science fiction so well. I hope that makes sense, but I love her writing and I think it's great. Can't wait to read the next one. Pretty stoked. So those are all the books I read in October. November is going to be a really busy month for me. I'm going to be away for like a week and a half of it, so I don't know how much reading I'm going to get done. But we'll see, because there are releases and there are authors coming and I have to read some stuff. So here's what I plan to hopefully maybe try and read in November. So Winter comes out on November 11, I believe. So I really freaking need to read Cress, which is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles. It's bigger than the other 2, and it's about Rapunzel, I guess, a retelling of Rapunzel. So I'm pretty excited for that. I'd also like to read Fairest by Marissa Meyer. This is a prequel to the series about the main villain, Queen Lavanna. Oh, I want to punch her really hard. Ow. So I'd like to read that. That one's a whole lot shorter, so hopefully I can fit that in somewhere. So on the last weekend of November this year, there's going to be an event called Supernova, which happens every year, and it is a pop culture convention, sort of like a Comic-Con type thing, and there are some awesome authors coming this year. So we have Sarah J Maas. Excuse me while I just take a moment, because Sarah J Maas here in my city. But a while ago someone recommended me this series, and 3 days later I found out that the author was coming to Supernova as well, and I was like, it's a sign! So I have to read Open Newton by Isabel Carmody. I hope I pronounced that right. There's a cat on the cover, so I have high hopes for this series. This is a series, I think the 7th book just came out, and this is definitely the shortest book. I've seen the other books and they get pretty big. But it's a long series because there are 7 books already. I don't know if it's the last one, if there's more. But I love long series. Long series are my jam. Series with 5 or more books, come at me bro, love them. So I'm pretty excited for this. I've heard great things. It is set in the future. There's a girl named Elspeth, I believe, who has some like mental abilities or something, and they're hunting down people like her, so she has to go on the run or something. I don't really know. As you can tell, I have no idea what this is about, so I need to read this before the convention. Otherwise I'll be like, that's a great book about a cat. Yay! TBR2D2 will reveal the TBR pick of the month now for November. If it's a big book, I'm a bit stuffed. Okay, please be a short book or a graphic novel. Heroes of Olympus! Okay, so I don't know what the first Heroes of Olympus book is, but I actually just recently acquired these. So I will read the first one. I think it's called The Lost Hero. I'll put a picture. I could go walk and get it, but not gonna, because that effort and stuff. Let me know in the comments below. Have you read any of those books? Are you going to read any of those books? Do you also have a cat that likes to chase plastic bags? Because we have a kitten-ish. She's not really a kitten. She's old enough to know that plastic bags are not for eating. Not only just eating them, but like climb in them. I think she took Katy Perry's song a little bit too seriously. She wants to feel like a plastic bag floating in the wind. I'm gonna go make sure that she's not eating another plastic bag, but I will see you next time. And in the meantime, go read an Australian author. It's not hard. Illuminate. J. Christoph is Australian, right? Australian! Yes, I was right. Okay, good.